All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. I had a couple people comment on the video the other day talking about the top 10 earners in 410 sprint car racing from 2023 to 2024. A couple people commented not only on the YouTube video, but on the Facebook post as well. They were asking me to do a similar comparison to that of the top 10 earners in 410 wing sprint car racing this year to the top 10 total earners in 410 non-wing sprint car racing here in 2024 as well. And so I figured I would put those numbers on the board. All of this stuff coming from sprintcarratings.com. We are looking at the January 1st to now for 410 wing and 410 non-wing. And we're going to be also looking at the total earnings per race. When you break it down, you take their total number of money they've earned divided by the number of races, and you get the total number that they get per race on average, right? So we've got the top 10 earners from wing over here. We've got the top 10 earners of non-wing right behind me right now. And there has been a little bit of shuffling around since I last did this. We did just have two races over at the Knoxville Raceway this weekend with the Outlaws. Also had some movement from the Ohio Sprint Week as well with a guy on the board. And then I also waited as well for this video to wait for after Eastern Storm for the USAC Sprint Cars. And these guys behind me have got 5 more races under their belts and 5 more races worth of money under their belts as well. Now, the one thing I did want to mention before I get started is that the drivers behind me, as far as the non-wing side of things go, they do have less races compared to the guys on the wing side of the board, and obviously way less money that you will see. But the other thing is you have to keep in mind is many of the guys that are on the non-wing side of this board, not only do they race without the wings on top, a non-wing 410 sprint car, but many of them also race full-time in a midget, and even some of them full-time in a midget and in the Silver Crown car combined with that 410 non-wing car. And so they're not just at these numbers behind me, and I don't have the numbers for Silver Crown and for midgets combined. I don't have all that stuff to add to this board. This is strictly just the earnings they've gotten without the wing on top of the race car when it comes to 410 sprint car racing. Wanted to put that out there, and this is not a video for me to compare and contrast the two series as far as which one has better racing, blah, blah, blah. That is for you guys to decide. I love 410 non-wing sprint car racing. I did that way before I was an announcer for wing cars. But that's, like I said, that's nothing for me to compare and contrast to. We're looking at the numbers, and that's what we're going to do right now. So looking at the top 10 right now in 410 wing sprint cars, Brad Sweet still at the top at $220,900. He has had 31 races so far this year, which equals him to a $7,125 total per race, which is actually really, really crazy. Tyler Courtney, $194,650. He has 33 races under his belt so far this year, and that number for him is $58.98 per race so far in 2024. David Gravel, $193,000. He's had 30 races so far this season at $6,433 each race. Rico Abreu at $155,380. He's at $4,316 per race. He also has the most races of anybody we've looked at so far at 36 races so far this year. Danny Dietrich, though, he now has the most races that we've looked at, $154,014. His total down at just $37.56 per race. He's also at 41 races, 5 more than anybody else that we've looked at on this board so far. Sheldon Haudenschild, he has the least amount of races on the board so far this year, $153,525 for an average of $5,293 in 29 races so far this year. Brent Marks, $143,850 for $4,110 per race at 35 races so far this year. And the next highest amount of races belongs to Anthony Macri, 39 races for him this year, a total of $142,500 and an average of $3,653 so far this year. Ninth, and moving up after the last time we did this, Corey Day, fresh off that Outlaw win, $142,300 total for him at $4,185 on an average for 34 races this year. Carson Bacedo rounds out the top 10 right now, $139,050 for $4,635 on each race and at 30 races so far this year. Now, the huge difference that you'll see, there's a huge difference all the way across the board, but this is the difference to me that is crazy to look at. The amount of money that is actually in 410 wing racing altogether compared to non-wing. The total wing payout so far this year in 410s, $6,469,683. And you will see in a moment that it is not even close to the number of total for non-wing. Now, the total 410 wing races so far this year at 195 total races. That's not just the Outlaws and High Limit. That's every racetrack that runs a weekly 410 series is also in that number as well. Now I'll move out of the way and you get the full view of the 410 non-wing guys. Logan Seavey currently at the top of the earnings chart at $74,425. He has ran 22 races, which if you look at this side of the board, that is 7 less than the least amount for the wing side of things of Sheldon Haudenschild. Logan Seavey at $3,382 per race on an average. Justin Grant is second at $54,000, so quite a big difference between those two. Already the difference here to here is crazy, but then you look at the difference from first to second on the board, $54,475 for Justin Grant. His total is $2,476, also in 22 races this year. Brady Bacon is third, close behind Grant at $53,975, $2,346 for him, with one more race under his belt so far this year. CJ Leary, $52,250, and just a total of $2,009 for CJ Leary. And he also has 3 more races than Brady Bacon at 26 total races, so bringing that number of average down just a little bit for him. And then Robert Ballou, he is fifth on the board at $50,275, an average amount of just $1,795 per race. He also has the most races on the board here so far at 28 features that he's ran so far this year. Kevin Thomas Jr., $49,125. His average is higher than Ballou's at $1,965, with 3 less races at 25 total for him. Dason Pursley, who would have not been on this board last year, but recently just getting into the 410 non-wing stuff, $36,525 for him, a total on average of $1,660. He's only ran the 22 races, just like Seavey and Grant as well. Kyle Cummins, $34,400 for him, and this is the lowest total we've seen so far on average at $1,274 for him. 27 races total for Kyle Cummins this year. Ricky Lewis, who is having a breakout year, I guess you could say, in non-wing sprint car racing, he's been absolutely fantastic. $33,450 for him, and an average total of just $1,115 per race. He has 30 races, however, on the board, which is the most of anybody else in the top 10 for non-wing sprint car racing this year. Mitchell Moles, $29,275, an average of $1,219 per night, and he has 24 races total this year. Now, I mentioned this number over here of $6.4 million. Look, and this is not a typo. This is not me writing the wrong number on the board. $1,194,865. So 6 times more money in the total payout in 2024 already this year for the wing side of things, which is astronomical. 6 times more money. $1.1 million to $6.4 million. Absolutely crazy. But also, the number of races is way, way less. Total 410 non-wing races this year at just 76 total events in 2024 as compared to 195. So well over double the amount of races when it comes to wing to non-wing. 6 times more on the wing payout total for the entire year. And then I don't know how to do math very good, but that is well over double what Brad Sweet has made so far to Logan Seavey. And then at 10th on the board, 29,000 to 100, basically 30,000 to 140,000 from 10th to 10th over there. So pretty crazy stuff here when you look at everything that's gone on. And even with the less races, you could say that these guys, once they hit 31 races or whatever, Logan Seavey will more than likely be around that, maybe that $90,000 mark. But still, it's going to be way behind what Brad Sweet has at $220,900. So I thought it would be very interesting after a couple of guys commented on the video asking me to do this. And I was like, man, that would actually probably be a pretty interesting video. Now, like I said earlier, I love non-wing sprint car racing. It was my first love when it came to sprint car racing. The first races I ever announced were midgets and non-wing stuff. And I love USAC. I love the history. I love everything about it. And I'm not bashing on these guys at all. I'm just giving you guys the numbers of what sprintcarratings.com has provided. Put them on the board and let you guys all take a look at it. And we'll see what everybody says down in the comment section below. So please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. We do this kind of stuff all the time. Like the video as well. If you would like to be a channel member, we have that down below as well. If you hit the join button, you can be a channel member. We would appreciate that very much. And we'll talk to you guys again here very soon. Plenty of content to come out here on the channel with the Houston Tide Bank Nationals coming up, as well as the Dirt Cup at Skagit. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk to you again here very soon.